In June of 1994, the entire country stopped to watch a white Ford Bronco drive slowly down a Los Angeles freeway. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman had been killed outside Nicole's condominium. To the public, one of the most famous athletes in America instantly became the primary suspect. 16 months later, an estimated 100 million people tuned in to watch the jury deliver their verdict in the most publicized criminal trial in history. Despite what appeared to be an overwhelming collection of physical evidence, O.J. Simpson was acquitted. He walked away a free man. But the story didn't end there. In 1997, the Goldman and Brown families sued Simpson. A civil jury found him legally and financially responsible for those same deaths, ordering him to pay $33.5 million. How does a man get acquitted of murder, but later get held legally responsible for it? The answer has very little to do with objective truth, and everything to do with the specific rules used to judge the Levins. Because there were no eyewitnesses to the murders, the prosecution had to rely entirely on physical traces left behind. This structure represents the 108 separate exhibits of DNA evidence used to map out a clear trail of blood from the crime scene directly to Simpson's bedroom. The statistics were precise. Blood found on a pair of dark socks in Simpson's bedroom matched Nicole Brown, with forensic experts calculating a 1 in 6.8 billion chance of an error. Then came the physical prints left on the Bundy Drive walkway. FBI analysts matched the bloody footprints to a rare size 12 Bruno Magli shoe, a specific brand Simpson firmly denied under oath that he ever owned. Between the microscopic biology and the physical footprints, the prosecution presented a case that looked mathematically certain. This graph illustrates the criminal legal standard, beyond a reasonable doubt. Simpson's defense team didn't need to prove he was innocent. They simply had to find enough flaws in the investigation to pull the jury's confidence below this high bar. They started by attacking police competence. The defense showed the jury how investigators collected blood in plastic bags and left critical evidence inside an unrefrigerated police van for up to 7 hours. From incompetence, they escalated to conspiracy. The defense accused the LAPD of planting evidence, pointing to the presence of the preservative EDTA in the samples to suggest they were pulled from police reference files. The entire framing theory rested on Detective Mark Fuhrman, the investigator who claimed to have found the bloody leather glove at Simpson's estate. The defense then unearthed 13 hours of audio interviews. In them, Fuhrman used racial slurs and discussed manufacturing evidence. When called back to the stand and asked directly if he planted evidence in this case, Fuhrman pled the Fifth Amendment. In a final, fatal error, the prosecution asked Simpson to try on the bloody gloves in front of the jury. They appeared far too tight, allowing defense attorney Johnnie Cochran to deliver the defining line, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The defense never fully disproved the DNA science. Instead, they used the LAPD's misconduct to degrade the credibility of the evidence, successfully dragging the case just below the threshold of reasonable doubt. In 1997, the victim's family sued Simpson. Moving from criminal to civil court meant the attorneys were playing by an entirely different set of rules. This scale represents the civil standard, called a preponderance of evidence. The jury only needs to be 51% certain. It simply has to be more likely than not that the defendant is responsible. When you place that 51% tipping point next to the criminal requirement, you can see the gap. The civil plaintiffs had a substantially easier path. They also had new material. The civil judge admitted entries from Nicole Brown's diary, which outlined a history of stalking and abuse. Lawyers then produced 31 different photographs of Simpson at a football game, showing him wearing the exact style of Bruno Magli shoes he previously swore he didn't own. Combined with the lower legal bar, this photographic proof made the outcome straightforward. The jury found him liable. These trials changed how forensic evidence is collected and demonstrated how a case can hinge entirely on the integrity of police procedure. They also proved something vital about the American justice system. Inside a courtroom, truth isn't an immovable fact. It is an outcome dictated by the specific legal threshold you are asked to cross.